21-year-old Lance Williams collided with a Ford Explorer and got pinned under the truck.
Connie and her husband rushed to the hospital where church members, friends, and family had already gathered to pray. They waited for the doctor's report. Finally, they got the news that Lance was alive, but he had broken his neck and his spinal cord was partially severed. The doctors said he would most likely be a quadriplegic.
You just never think that it's going to happen to you. At the same time, I'm a Christian, so I had the faith that no matter what, I could make it through, but I sure didn't want to hear what they had to say.
Welcome to the 700 Club Canada. I'm Brian Warren.
And I'm Laurelyn Tyler Thompson, and it's almost that
Merry Christmas. No, it is that
year.
day. What are you talking about? Almost that time. We are here. This is the day that we celebrate our Savior's birth.
Right.
And today on this special day, we pray that you are enjoying and also celebrating the goodness of God in your home.
Oh, yes, and we're grateful to share today with you. You know, Brian, I mean, it's a wonderful day. Gathering with your loved ones and just, shutting everything down and
Merry
just
Christmas.
Spending time with family. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I just got to say it. You know what? I mean, how many times can we say that?
How many times can
Merry
you?
Christmas.
You're a jolly guy today.
Well, I
you
love
are
that,
super
right? You know
jolly.
what? I love Christmas. I mean, I am into this. I was thinking about putting the whiskers, but I was like, no, that's not going to necessarily work. I think the hat works well with you, though.
Right.
That's your gift.
It does. It does.
You think so?
And you know what?
It fits your outfit.
Well, many of us know him as the jolly, plump, older man who rides a sleigh to deliver Christmas presents to boys and girls. But history and tradition of this modern day Santa go back 1,500 years to St. Nicholas. Merry Christmas. A great story.
Yeah.
Take a look.
There you go. Nice picture. Right? Merry Christmas.
He's fun on Christmas.
There you go.
Christmas cookies left out for Santa, plus carrots for his reindeer. And the next morning, presents under the tree and stockings stuffed with goodies. For most Americans, this is Santa Claus. But the history and traditions surrounding the jolly old elf date back another 1,500 years. They take us to the Church of St. Nicholas in Myra, Turkey. Nicholas was born here around 280 AD. Growing up, he lived a pious life pursuing God. When his parents died during a plague, Nicholas was left with a huge inheritance. Instead of spending it on himself, he fed the hungry, clothed the naked, and helped those in debt to moneylenders. One of his acts of kindness gave us our tradition of hanging Christmas stockings. Legend has it that a father was about to be forced to marry off his daughters to pay his debts. Knowing the man couldn't pay the debts himself, Nicholas crept into the house while everyone was asleep and left 3 bags of gold. One is said to have fallen into a stocking drying by the fireplace. Nicholas was so generous with his wealth, he lived the life of a pauper and at times had nowhere to lay his head except the house of God. Seeing how much he sacrificed for others, the church elected Nicholas bishop over the region. But it wasn't an easy era for the church.
One of the worst periods of Christian persecution came under the Emperor Diocletian. Now, Nicholas spent years in prison, oftentimes being tortured. This was also when Constantine was fighting for control of this region and had his famous dream vision of the Chi-Rho symbol and the words, "In this sign you shall conquer." Now, when Constantine won the day, Christian persecution ended and Nicholas was free.
After his release, Nicholas resumed his position and was soon considered one of the top Christian leaders in the empire. He was one of more than 300 bishops on the Council of Nicaea, which created the Nicene Creed to help unify the church. As an outspoken follower of Christ, Nicholas continued to face death threats for the rest of his life, but he never stepped away from his faith.
This is the very spot where Nicholas preached. Now, his life, his ministry, and his death are all kind of encapsulated in this church. He died December 6, 343, and was entombed in a sarcophagus right around the corner.
Over the centuries, many traditions were associated with St. Nicholas, but it was the act of giving gifts on the anniversary of his early December death that became the most popular. In Nicholas's day, people believed that angels wrote names down in the Book of Life. That transitioned into elves, keeping a record of the naughty and nice. Around the world, there are many different images of Father Christmas, from Père Noël in France to the German gift giver, Claus, who rides a donkey. Countries such as Norway and Sweden didn't have many horses or donkeys, so Nicholas got around riding a reindeer. And the 8 tiny reindeer we've all heard about? Well, that was Clement Moore's creation in his 1823 poem, A Visit from Saint Nick, or 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. And just like the belief that Jesus and the saints will return to earth from a celestial city, the New Jerusalem became St. Nicholas's home and workshop at the North Pole. So many of our Christmas traditions find their origins in the Bible and with this pious saint.
But what can we learn from St. Nicholas? Well, for one, we need to remember that no matter how difficult our lives become, we should stay focused first on God, like Nicholas did. And of course, the most obvious lesson is that it's better to give than to receive. After all, that's the way Nicholas lived his life, based on the example set by Jesus Christ.
If you are a 700 Club Canada partner, I want to say thank you for your support. If you contact us today, we'd love to send you a free copy of our monthly magazine, Frontlines, so you can read firsthand what God is doing through this ministry and partners like you. Are you on social media? Be sure to like and share our post on Facebook. And don't forget our website, 700club.ca, offers free resources and inspiring devotions that are easy to share. Help us get the word out about what God is doing. Together, we can make a difference.
As a father of 2, Lance Williams sees every Christmas as a time to make special memories with his family. But what happened Christmas 2004 will always be etched in his mind. Earlier that year, on May 10th, Lance was on his way home to be with family. He was single and soon to be commissioned as an officer in the United States Army. His mother, Connie, remembers.
It was actually one of those moments when everything is perfect in your life. We were all having a big dinner at my house, and we were getting ready. Lance was late, and I was, as usual, I thought.
But Lance never arrived.
Hello?
Instead, Connie got a phone call. Her son had been in an accident.
I thought we'd go get him and bring him home, and with a broken leg.
But it was worse than she could have imagined. Lance's accident became a headline on the evening news.
A motorcyclist was critically injured. Investigators say the driver of the motorcycle, 21-year-old Lance Williams, collided with a Ford Explorer, got pinned under the truck. For Walton Beach, police say the driver of the SUV is charged with failure to yield.
Connie and her husband rushed to the hospital where church members, friends, and family had already gathered to pray. They waited for the doctor's report.
I didn't know they were telling me he died. So, it's hard.
Finally, they got the news that Lance was alive, but he had broken his neck and his spinal cord was partially severed. The doctors said he would most likely be a quadriplegic.
You just never think that it's going to happen to you. At the same time, I'm a Christian, so I had faith that no matter what, I could make it through, but I sure didn't want to hear what they had to say.
While Lance underwent surgery, more people joined in prayer. Doctors were able to repair his spine, but said Lance had only a 5% chance of ever walking again. By now, Lance had regained consciousness. He says even while trapped under the SUV, he felt God's peace.
The very first thing that I did was I prayed the Lord's Prayer instantly, because I didn't know if I was gonna die or not. I wasn't scared, because I knew where I was gonna go. In that moment, I knew where I would go if I was to die. And I forgave the guy underneath the vehicle, not even knowing who this guy was. And that forgiveness to that guy right then and there was probably the start of my true healing.
Though the pain was often unbearable, he worked hard at rehab and continued to pray for a full recovery. After 90 days, he got a sign that God was listening.
With myself praying, moving my hand, and with the help of God, that was the first thing that happened, that I was just like, I knew I was gonna be fine.
Once he crossed that bridge, his rehabilitation moved quickly, surprising even doctors. Finally, he went home. He was still in a wheelchair, but he had his heart set on one goal: to walk down the aisle at church to receive communion on Christmas Eve.
Because it's the best day of the year.
Then after just 7 months of rehab, Lance was ready to take a step of faith. He was at church, and it was Christmas Eve.
I told my stepdad, I said, I want to walk up for communion. And that's when I stood up, and I was at the back, and I walked all the way up there.
He did it all the way. We have a big church, all the way from the back. And I remember the people around me in the choir said, Connie, that's a long way. That's all. I said, yes, it is, you know. It was my personal answer to prayer, and it was just, you know, God gave his son, and it was like my son was given to me. You know, that was a real significant moment. It was a gift.
I knew I'd hit the goal that I wanted to hit, but I knew I was going to show everybody what God had done for me. And that I knew that everybody had witnessed a miracle.
Today, you can find Lance working up a sweat at the gym and spending time with his wife, Gabby, and their 2 daughters.
It means the world that I know that God has given me my life back. I do have a little bit of paralysis still. However, I have a wonderful family. After I was told I never would have children, I can pretty much do everything that a normal able-bodied person can. I'm very thankful for what God's done in my life. Even though I had to go through that hard time, I'm super, super excited what he's done for me. And I know he's not done with the healing. And if I have to wait until I join him in heaven to be completed, then that's fine with me, because I'm happy. It really is amazing where I am and what God has done in my life and what he continues to do in my life.
Wow, what amazing faith. You know, to just keep on believing, even though you don't know how it's going to turn out, you don't know what's going to happen, just to keep on trusting God. You know, Romans 12:12 has a very hopeful verse. I want to share it with you. It says this: be joyful in hope, patient in affliction. How many of us are patient in affliction? I get a little bit impatient. I don't know about you, but faithful in prayer. Lance was all of those things. He was joyful in hope. He just believed that God was able. Do you believe for your situation today? Are you facing something where you need to be patient in affliction and faithful in prayer? We all go through things, and we need to know that there is a God who answers prayer. And if you're struggling with that right now, I understand that. Every single one of us goes through things that cause us to wonder how we are going to get through it, how we will be healed, how we can even have hope or faith or belief that God sees our situation. With all of the billions of people on the earth, do you ever wonder, how does he see my life and my circumstance? Well, you know what? He's God, and he sees it all. If some of these computers that are just built by man can handle thousands of transactions a day, you can bet that our God can handle every one of our problems. If you need some faith today, and you need to know about answered prayer and what the Word of God has to say about it, give us a call, 1-855-759-0700. We'll send this out today. It won't cost you anything. As well, when you call, you can ask for prayer, because every one of those prayer partners are going to join with you in faith and come into agreement for your healing. A special Christmas Hope to Go with Brian Warren, a message after this. We want to thank all of you who are watching right now and have given to the ministry of the 700 Club Canada program, whether you have made a one-time gift or you have been a partner for many years. Your support is vital for us to share the gospel through daily television broadcast, internet ministry, humanitarian work, and our follow-up ministry. Your gifts enable us to work with key ministry partners through children's ministry and humanitarian projects. You also help us to reach children with the gospel through our new Superbook series. If you would like to know more about giving, please call us at the number on your screen or visit our website at 700club.ca. Thank you for your support, and may God bless you abundantly.
Welcome to This Hope to Go. Today I want to talk to you about Miracle on Manger Street. You know, the Bible has an interesting verse, and it comes out of the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2, verse 11 and 12. And this is the Amplified. It says, "For to you is born this day, on Christmas, in the town of David, a Savior, who is Christ, the Messiah, the Lord. And this will be a sign for you, by which you will recognize him. You will find, after searching, a baby wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger." Wow. A king born in a barn. What an extraordinary paradox. But Christmas is truly a paradox. An unknown author wrote, "Jesus Christ was born in the cruelest of circumstances, but the air above was filled with the hallelujahs of the heavenly host. His lodging was a cattle pen, but a star drew great guests from afar to render him glory and honor. His birth was contrary to the laws of life. His death was contrary to the laws of death. No miracle is so inexplicable as his life and teachings. He had no wheat fields or fisheries, but he could spread a table for 5,000 and have bread and fish to spare. 3 years he preached his gospel. He wrote no book, built no church. But after 2,000 years, he is the one central character of human history, the permanent theme of all preaching, the pivot around which the event of the age revolved, the only regenerator of the human race. What thinking person can keep from exclaiming, 'My Lord and my God'?" Over 700 years before the birth of Christ, the prophet Isaiah prophesied, "Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and she shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel," which being interpreted is God with us, Isaiah 7 and 14. Yet the greatest mystery of history is why the Son of God would humble himself and become a human like us. Look at the end of the verse we just read. It says that they shall call his name Emmanuel, which is being interpreted as God with us. The key word in this verse is the presupposition, which is he is God with us. Not only God over us, as would be fitting, since he is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and the ruler of the universe, not only God for us, as the gracious Lord who abundantly gives us his grace, not only God in us, which is what God becomes when he saves us, but God with us, one of us. Let's look at our opening verse again. Luke 2:11, it says this, "For to you is born this day on Christmas. This will be a sign for you by which you will recognize him. You will find, after searching, a baby wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger." And this is so powerful. A king born in a barn is unusual, but a king of kings in a barn, that's miraculous. And a deeper look at the manger scene and that manger street, we recognize the significance. The manger, the swaddling clothes, and the shepherds are powerful reminders of how the humble arrival of the King of Kings confronts all of us as we celebrate Christmas. The miraculous birth of Christ, the real reason for the season. Let me give you some hope to go take home, to take this home. Manger Street miracle. One, or A, is Christ's birth says, "I understand you. I know there are people going through those things today. You may feel like no one understands you, what you're going through, but I've got good news for you." Jesus' birth shouts that God stepped out of heaven and into human problems. He stepped into human temptation, burdens, hurts, and loneliness. But B, his death says he loves you. Romans 5:8, "But God demonstrated his own love in this, that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." Did you get that? Jesus' death is a shout, an amazing message to you. I would rather die in your place than live without you. and finally see. His resurrection, Christ's resurrection, says he alone can change you. He gives you a brand new start. Just as Christ was raised from the dead by the glory of the Father, even so, we also should walk in the newness of life. Today, you need to walk in the newness of life. He gives you power to live right. And I'm probably talking to someone who is saying right now, I can't be different, Pastor. I'll never conquer my problems, hang-ups, and sins. If God can come to earth, live and die as a man, and raise Jesus from the dead, which is impossible by human standards, he can change you. And that is your hope to go. Welcome back. Laura Lynn, we all have great Christmas memories, but today, 31 years married. I was married on Christmas Day to Karen Don. So I love you, baby. And that's one of my greatest Christmas memories.
So nice.
I got married on Christmas Day so I wouldn't forget my anniversary.
Good thinking.
And I just wanted to be married once.
Oh, it's beautiful.
What's your Christmas memory?
Well, you know, I'm just appreciating every year as my parents are aging, and my father always does the blessing over the turkey. So all the grandkids, me and my brother, all the kids are there. And you got the big turkey, and hopefully it turned out. You know, there's been a few years it wasn't good. But he says that blessing, and every year it's more special to me. And there's nothing like Christmas. It's everything goes quiet, you know, and we pause and we reflect. I don't know another, you know, beautiful celebration like Christmas. And it all started because of a precious plan by God to redeem mankind. It's so awesome.
We couldn't get to him, so he built a stairway and came down to us. And you know what? For real though, barbecue as well. On Christmas, you can still do barbecue.
Brian, you can't do barbecue on Christmas. No turkey barbecue.
Oh, man. Well, we want to leave you with this power verse. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus.
Because he will save his people from their sins. Matthew 1:21.
We want to leave you with this Christmas blessing. May the Lord grant you joy and peace.
May the blessings of Christ be on you and your family this holiday season. Merry Christmas.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You are the Christ, the anointed one. You are the Son of the living God. Messiah, you are. You set me free. That's who you are to me. That's who you are to me. And I am no longer a servant, for you have called me friend. And I am no longer a wandering soul, for you take me by the hand. You are the Christ, the anointed one. You are the Son of the living God. Messiah, you are. You set me free. That's who you are to me. That's who you are to me. And I am no longer blind. blinded, for you have opened up my eyes, and I am no longer walking dead, for you have saved my life. You are the Christ, the anointed one. You are the Son of the living God. Messiah, you are. You set me free. That's who you are to me. That's who you are to me. You are the Christ, the anointed one. You are the Son of the living God. Messiah, you are. You set me free. That's who you are to me. You are the King. You are Lord of all. You rule all things, big and small, and it's at your name that I bow my knee. That's who you are to me. That's who you are to me. That's who you are to me. Who you are to me.
To contact us, phone 1-855-759-0700. You can email us at cba@700club.ca. You can now like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter or Instagram. On the next 700 Club Canada.
Hurry up, kids. We gotta get down to the Mega Mall. It's almost time for the annual Christmas Eve Scramble up Price Peak.
My word. If that Stone Cipher guy across the street puts one more cartoon cutout on his lawn, I just may have to break out the inflatable mistletoe reindeer.
Chris, I have your ice pitons to help you climb Price Peak. Whoa.
That's one messed up reindeer.